this statement of the ministry. I doubt that they believe it themselves. I think it's basically a public relations exercise. They are basically pulling the wool over the eyes of the public by citing statistics that have no credibility. They claim that 99.8% of the demand has been met in the last financial year, and they conclude that there is no unmet. Illogical. You see, what is called demand for work in the NREGA portal, the MIS, it's only the recorded demand, and it's not necessarily the demand of workers. It can be demand that the implementing agencies have made on their behalf as a formality. But the main point is that there's a lot of unrecorded demand. There are a lot of people who don't know how to apply, and in fact, even larger numbers of people who have still not understood that they have a right to apply and that they can get work on demand. So there are many works that are initiated by implementing agencies of various sorts, and then they fill these demand forms as a matter of formality. So almost by construction on the MIS, the demand is equal to the employment, but that doesn't tell us anything about the unmet demand in reality. Payments have been going on for about more than 12 years now. Basically, ever since the payment of wages through bank accounts began, there have been issues of delays in payments. One reason for that is that the system of payments keep being changed, and quite often a new system is put in place that is not reliable and mature, and then there are a lot of so-called teething problems. They get resolved slowly over time, and then by the time they are on the way to being resolved, you start a new system, and then there's a new range of teething problems. So the ministry is yet to put in place a reliable and timely payment system. The budget is insufficient, and so every year around the middle of the year, the system runs out of funds, and then workers are not paid, and the delays accumulate, and then the arrears are carried over to the next year. In between, there is usually a supplementary allocation, but that is never adequate to eliminate these arrears. So this NMMS app, which again is an unreliable and immature technology, creates a new and worse problem than delays in wage payments. It creates a situation where many workers work without being paid. I mean, this is absolutely unbelievable that you can employ people, and that too, doing hard manual work, and then you don't pay them because this digital app was not working that day. For example, worked 6 days over the week, but they were paid only for 3 or 4 days. And that is why this NMMS app is being strongly opposed at the moment by NREGA Sangharsh Morcha, the coalition of workers' organizations. Until now, that is until 1st of February of 2023, the NREGA payment system allowed 2 payment options. One is the so-called account-based option, which is an ordinary bank transfer where you just have to the bank name and the account number, and then the money is transferred to that account. And the other option is is called Aadhaar-based option. Now, that's a complicated system where briefly your Aadhaar becomes a financial address, and the money is sent automatically to your last Aadhaar-linked account. For this to work, not only do you need an Aadhaar number, your job card has to be linked with Aadhaar, your bank account has to be linked with Aadhaar, all these have to be consistent with each other. And then on top of that, your account has to be linked to the NPCI mapper, the mapper. This is a process called mapping. And it's only after that that you become eligible for Aadhaar-based transfer. Now, on the 30th of January, the Ministry of Rural Development issued an order to all the state governments saying that from the 1st of February, only Aadhaar payments, Aadhaar-based payments would be allowed. Only Aadhaar-based payments would be made. This has created an extraordinary situation where a majority of NREGA workers cannot be paid as things stand. And it's not going to be easy at all for most of them to become eligible for Aadhaar-based payments. Any NREGA worker today who goes to a work site and work will have a doubt, am I going to be paid or not? Because they don't know whether they are being paid through account-based payments or Aadhaar-based payments. They have no idea of the difference. They don't even know that there are two systems. In the last few weeks, 3 big blows have been done to the program. The compulsory digital attendance system, now this compulsory Aadhaar-based payment, and of course the big reduction in budget. The 3 go together. And we know that from 2014 onwards, the NDA government has been quite hostile to NREGA. I think that they keep looking for ways of undermining or rolling back the program. But the attack that is happening now is unprecedented.